One love, Delta 9 travelers. Welcome back. Welcome back to the channel. And big up to all the new travelers that are with us right now on this presentation. Now we're getting into some of this, listen, very important conversation coming from the leader of the Parliamentary 12 for the APNU, coming out of the PNC party specifically. So we're analyzing these details because we've been talking about it for a while now on Delta 9 Media. We're saying what is really going on with the sittings of Parliament? Why is Parliament not meeting on certain issues? What's really taking place with the formal functionality of our government? Well, guess what? The leader of the opposition didn't come out and detail it for us. The leader of the opposition didn't bring out other persons to make sure that they come together and, same way, protest so that there might be sittings of parliament, which is very important. But guess what we're about to hear right now from the Honorable Mr. Campbell. He's about to highlight one of the reasons why, more than likely, there hasn't been a sitting of parliament in recent time. Why? Because, man, listen, we hear directly from Honorable Mr. Campbell right now. Because after you hear these insights, I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to suss it out a little better as to why persons in keeping Parliament. The last time there was Parliament, it was all the way back in the early part of the year, probably like February, when they were dealing with stuff for the budget. After that was it. That was it. After that, we asking ourselves how come and why are they proceeding like this? Because they got conflicts going on in the world. They got stuff going on with the delay in delivery of fertilizer. And we're one of the, places that is known as a food basket in the world. We were once the food basket of the Caribbean, and there's so many other implications with these recent developments with Venezuela and Barbados and a number of other things that supposed to be, or more than likely could be, a focus of a parliamentary meeting, but yet still nothing as yet. But why? Why is this? We hear some of these details coming in from Honorable Mr. Campbell.
The program. And I won't dive straight into the question. I will do a sidebar in terms of welcoming you to what seems to be a new role. I know traditionally you've been a man in the press, in the printed press, and it's good to see you in this new audiovisual role with OGGN. So welcome. And at least from your introduction, you seem to have taken to it like a duck to water. Yes, there have been no sittings of Parliament or any parliamentary committees since the budget. And I think we can reasonably infer that the only reason that Parliament was summoned was to pass the budget itself. Two committees were formed, the Committee of Selection and the Business Subcommittee of the Committee of Selection. And this was just to advance the work of the budget. That's it. There was no intention, there clearly was no intention for any other committees to be formed. The committee, the lack of sittings of Parliament affects us in the opposition because every fourth sitting is a sitting that's dedicated to the issues raised by opposition members. We have raised, I personally have raised.
Every fourth sitting is designated towards the situations or the points of discussion that would be raised by the opposition. That means a number of things that the opposition would like to bring to the House is being delayed. Y'all understand what's taking place? So that means the opposition might not even able to bring up nothing for the rest of the year because we still got two more to go. We still got two more sittings to go before the opposition would have the fourth one for them to bring forward so many issues that persons would have been raising, so many different things that they would like to bring before the House. So you see how important it is for persons make sure that the Parliament is actually meeting, because it is stymieing, it is delaying the opportunity for your representatives to bring your issues to the floor. It is delaying the opportunity for them to bring the issues, the real issues of the people to the floor. And everybody is sitting back and watching it. But are you really realizing what's taking place? Because watch, we done that in May. We are already in May. Next couple months, we're going into the Christmas season already. I know it sounds like if I rush in the brush, but let me think about it next month, because today's May 1st. Big up to every person that's a part of the workforce in Guyana, everybody that is out and about right now, making sure that they commemorate and they celebrate the May Day. As is usual, you got a lot of persons out and around, and we're gonna highlight some of those details right here. But as we think about what Honorable Mr. Campbell was just able to highlight to us, it is important that persons make sure that their regular sittings of Parliament, other than they're just playing around, we are just playing around with this. You could present, you could highlight, one person could go here, you could go there, but until you get into the House, where things are really litigated, where laws are made, and different high level discussions can be had, what is really getting done? We're really getting done, buddy. We're playing games, we're playing
Questions
around.
that have received spurious answers. There was one where with the Ministry of Agriculture, I remember it offhand, but related to the poultry sector. And I was asking about countries, and they answered in relation to individuals. Um, questions are struck down as violation of the standing orders. And interesting that this is from the Oil and Gas Network. I actually drafted the very first submission sent to the clerk was an amendment to the National Resource Act, which I personally drafted. And as far as I know, I have not received any communication. I may have missed it, but I have not received any communication that that particular amendment has been addressed by the Speaker. So,
They must stretching you out. They must say, with this discussion that you're coming to have right here, could cause a lot of uproar. You talking about redoing what? Man, listen. When is the fourth sitting actually gonna be? Because I don't know if they're counting the budget as a sitting. That being the case, that means they got two more sittings before the opposition is gonna have their go. Or, the points that they would put forth would actually be the foundation of what would be discussed on the floor. Here's some more.
other questions have been addressed, other questions to myself, other parliamentarians, and so on. But the very, very first item submitted, an amendment to the National Resource Act, has not been addressed by the Speaker. So if the longer that there are no sittings of Parliament, it becomes more, and if this continues for 5 years, then issues that the opposition wants to raise will have a steep hill to climb in terms of getting to parliamentary debate. So from that
That's
standpoint,
crazy.
I'm very concerned. Secondly, from the committee standpoint, I am concerned that in particular, and this is not the only one, but in particular the Public Accounts Committee, whose work I am told, and you would know that I'm new to Parliament, and I believe that I am told that the work of the last committee stopped in 2019. So we have 2019, well, maybe 2020, all the way to 2025. This is the period, we're now entering the period of governance of this PPP government from 2020. And so there's no opportunity for that committee to do its work because that committee too has not been formed. Several of my colleagues have raised this issue. I believe it's also been raised at the APNU press conference about the fact that the committees have not been formed and hence not functioning. So we are most unhappy about this. Outside of that, the members of parliament have been busy, and we've been using other media, notwithstanding the loss of the Starbuck News, to address issues that occur, but addressing those issues via the social media, or via newspapers, or via radio, or even via this program, is not the equivalent of getting a minister in parliament to answer questions truthfully,
Exactly.
before parliamentarians and the national audience. So we are extremely concerned about this.
Right. And so what is to be done? Because clearly this can't continue, but it may also reflect a complete obstinacy on the part of the government. That is, they would like to do things at their own pace. They know that there are things that they could be called upon to explain in Parliament, and they're trying to avoid that. Surely that can't be the kind of Parliament that we voted in the last election. Surely they must recognize the right to have members day every 4 weeks, and recognize the right to have motions presented, questions asked, and bills presented. So clearly what should be done by the opposition, together or individually, APNU, WIN, for Guyana, clearly something has to be done rather than just sitting back and waiting for the speaker to say something. For example, I noticed the speaker and some of the government parliamentarians went to an Interparliamentary Union event in Turkey. I am not aware whether or not the opposition was invited, but clearly you can't be attending an International Parliamentary Union when you've simply closed off work in your own parliament.
And I agree with you. The international, I think we did speak to that issue. Various MPs have spoken to that same issue. They will claim that the Interparliamentary Union delegation has been decided upon based on previous membership, etc. But it is ironic that we are going, and it's not the first trip by the speaker to such a meeting since this parliament was formed. I believe he was out in December or January in Turkey in relation to a similar event. I think it's ironic that those parliamentarians, especially from the government side, would attend such events, even as they refuse to call parliament. And then you would recognize that the courts have historically limited, taking the view that they have limited power to interfere into the operations of parliament. So the litigation in this particular instance has its limits. It's not like if a government official is not functioning, we go for judicial review or something, or so that is not, it's not ruled out as an option, but it's a steep hill to climb, likely to be unsuccessful. I think what has to happen is a wider call by a united opposition, which has its own challenges at the moment. A wider call by a united opposition, and to engage those foreign powers that have historically paid some attention to Guyana. We recall in January, I think all of the ABCEU issued calls for the election of a leader of the opposition, which was something that then followed. So, at some point, we need to discuss the situation and to move to ask external agencies, perhaps, to exercise moral suasion on the government of Guyana.
Right.
It's crazy that it got to come to all of that. Why we always gotta look to outside source, a person that is gonna come from an international position to now enforce things that's already a part of the Constitution, things that is already a part of what should be done in the country. What y'all think about this, Delta 9 travelers? What y'all think about this? Because this situation, as we just got a chance to hear from the Honorable Mr. Campbell, is one that could have a whole lot of far-reaching implications. Could you imagine? You gotta wait for every fourth sitting before the opposition now could have a real chance to bring certain issues to the floor. And elections were finished in, let me say, October, right? Let me give it a whole month. Let me say October, or let me say November. Now you got December plus 5 months. That's 6 months. That's almost half a year, and only once. So if we go by this average, that means that the opposition wouldn't have a chance until next Christmas to present the issues that's going on. Because if you take half a year and you only had one sitting, the second sitting is going to be the next half of the year. Then the third sitting is going to be the first half of 2027. Then probably coming down to the latter part of 2027, the opposition will have the chance to really bring the issues of the people to the floor. How could Guyana allow that? How could y'all sit around and allow these kind of situations to be the fact? Just like Parsons came out and protest for the leader of the opposition to be in his rightful place in accordance with the law and the formal running of the country, Parsons got to come forward to and present a real unified front, a strong opposition, might I say, to make sure that this is not the case. Here how I done calculate it. Could y'all really and truly accept waiting until the ending part of 2027 for your representatives to really and truly be able to bring forward the issues that you were raising for the entire time in 2026 and in 2027, for them to wait till the latter part of 2027, going along with this present average of one sitting per 6 months? It's crazy when you think about it, you know. It's very, very crazy when you think about it. But guess what's going on? Today is May Day, and we had a chance to catch up with some of the persons, some of the political leaders out and about, networking with persons and presenting, speaking on a lot of issues that the workforce, the populace might be facing. Let's get into some of these details coming in from who? The leader of the opposition himself, Honorable Mr. Mohammed.
If not, I will now invite the leader of the opposition.
Yes, it's the leader of
Good day, everyone. All protocols observed. As I know, we were out here since 7 this morning. But most importantly, I want to remind you that after today, when we leave here, I hope that we can regroup, and I hope that the unions collectively can work together. Because the only way we can get rid of this dictatorship, deceitful, treacherous government, is by regrouping and working together. This morning, as I was standing on the avenue, I saw a number of nurses training. So they approached me and I asked them what is going on. If you come out to, on our walk. They said no, they gotta attend the State House for a brunch. They gotta attend the State House for a brunch. And I want you to know that these nurses gotta work for 3 years straight to receive a pittance of $16,000 a month. Right? While the First Lady is in Dubai, in Singapore presently, So I want you to understand what is going on in this country. From year 2020 to 2026, we had budgets totaling $6 trillion dollars. $6 trillion dollars. How did it impact you? How did it better your life?
Now, $16,000 a month is very ridiculous. Not just ridiculous, but very and double very, probably even a triple very. Ridiculous. Less than 100 US for the entire month. Do you realize that persons just work for more than that a day? People just work for more than that, way more than that a day. Just a couple hours on a plane. And we're talking about one of the wealthiest nations in the world, one of the fastest growing economies in the world, a country that is talking about having health tourism and all of these things. So these are we going to exploit the persons that would make a situation like that possible? Oh man, that don't make no sense. Something got to be done about that. And big up to the honorable opposition leader for coming out and highlighting some of what's going on right here.
Exactly. Three consecutive, from 2024 to 2026, three consecutive $1 trillion budgets. But 40 to 50% of these budgets, based on information I've received in the Auditor General office, and the person that is running the Auditor General office is no other than the wife of the Minister of Finance.
That's crazy.
No other than the wife of the Minister of Finance. So this is how the corruption is so rampant. Every year, 40 to 50% of our budget, of the people's budget, goes into the pocket of the friends, family, and favorites. Now, the minimum wage for public servants is $102,346. $102,346. A pittance. Can the PPP cabal, can they survive on that when the month comes? We have about 70,000.
$500 for a whole month. And some person's rent done gone with more than half of that. So now you got to double up on your work, right? You might got a second job. When you have time now to take care of yourself, take care of your children, why are persons still making this small amount of money when you're talking about a wealthier nation, when you're talking about cost of living going up, and all kind of thing. But guess what? It's about time that we, as Guyanese, as persons all over the world, as persons on the ground now in Guyana, wake up to the reality that some people really don't care about what's going on. You know, and we could clearly see it.
Plus public servants in this country. 70,000 plus. And each of these public servants got a family of 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is why 58% of the population is living in poverty and 32% in abject poverty. While the president and his cabinet live in the big boy life every day. But how long ago will we tolerate this nonsense? If the people of this country don't stand up for their rights, trust me, by 2030, cost of living will go through the sky. Right now, from 2020 to 2026, 75 to 100% increase in food items. While your salary, the public servant, was increased by 46%. So look at the maths. Cost of living, 100%, salary, 46%. Mr. Witter is one of the persons that was instrumental in me running for office.
Yeah.
Very instrumental.
Yeah.
I want to give him a round of applause. And we must not forget the father of trade unionism, Hubert Nathaniel Critchlow, our two great leaders, Forrest Burnham and Chetty Jager. We must not forget them because they fought for us. But the PPP, they stray away from the ideologies of Chetty Jacob. Chetty always would mention the rich can look after themselves, but the poor cannot. The state must look out for the poor people in this country. And this is the opposite of what the PPP, what they are doing. But we can continue talking and talking, but we need to mobilize. I need these trade unions to regroup and build the base so that we can ensure our public servants get more. The return of collective bargaining. The unions, well, I noticed, Attorney General, the CCJ had to tell him, put a padlock on his mouth to stay quiet. I think he carried the GT to court, so they cannot receive their dues from the GTU. In 2024, let me tell you a story. In 2024 February, when they had a strike across the country, Ms. Coretta McDonald, we had a conversation.
Very interesting times in our beautiful nation. As we analyze these things, we really got to take some time and think about what's going on the ground. This is what Honorable late great Mr. Chetty Jagan had to say.
We believe that the working people must have a say, and the state must help to protect the poor. The rich can always take care of themselves. The poor is the one who needs protection, and that is what the PPP was created for.
I'm telling you, when we really think about it, we really gotta wonder what's the direction some forces are taking, right?
100% well-crafted CMOS. Only the best, cause you deserve nothing less. 8 Butterfly.
A natural way to stay ready, baby. Cause I'm ready for you, Mr. C.
The ultimate male supplement, men's total wellness formula, packed with essential nutrients for men's health.
She'll call you Mr. C.
8 Butterfly Black Seed, loaded with antioxidants and essential nutrients for your body's needs. Breathe better, feel better, live healthier. All the benefits of black seed oil without the taste. 8 Butterfly Black Seed Capsule.
And indeed, I supported, financially for the teachers and so. And President Irfan called me. He said, I heard that you met with Ms. Coretta. I said, yes, I met with her. He said, but what are you doing? That I just left. Yes, that I just left Barbies. And I don't know if you can recall the teachers when they were striking, they were chanting, the cut we pay, we don't care, Mohammed Gabi back. Yes. That's why he was driving out. They were there, protesting with their placards, etc. So I said, yes, indeed I met with Ms. McDonald. Is that a problem? He said, man, what are you doing? This is a political strike. It's motivated politically. I said, man, but at the end of the day, these teachers, needs representation and they need a better salary. Why can't you give the teachers $200 by 15,000 teachers? That's 40,000 a month by 15,000 teachers monthly. I'm sure that we have the money to pay them more.
That's a real good point. Definitely got the funds to pay them more. I wonder why they still haven't done something better for the teachers and a number of other public servants. It's really, there's a dark reality on the ground in there.
He said, all right, this is politically motivated. But I want you to know the PPP, they don't care about you. Right? This is a vindictive government. Look how many public servants they fired, they transferred just because they took a picture with me or they shook my hand. A police in Morocco was transferred to Molson Creek. Up to now, that man is still there. Right? So we need to mobilize. We need to ensure that these unions can regroup. We will work, all the opposition parties will work with the unions so that we can ensure public servants get more in this country. Now the CSOs, we have about 3,000 CSOs in the country, mostly from the indigenous communities. They are workers too. They gotta wait 3 months before they can get a $50,000 a month. 3 months they gotta wait. If you really care about the people, putting people first, we have to ensure that our public servants must get representation. They must live a better life. They must live a better life. The 10-day workers, we have over 15,000 10-day workers in this country. And they're forcing these 10-day workers to set up tents for their meetings, for the PPP meetings. This is how they're treating our 10-day workers in this country. How long more will we tolerate and allow these things to happen? How long more will we allow it to
happen? Very powerful questions, right? Like how much more of this? How much more of this are we really gonna tolerate? How much longer are we gonna just stand by and say, you know what, this is politics, you can't get in this, or why were you gonna do this, Guyana? You know, we got to realize that, listen, the opportunities are there, the wealth is there. It's the persons that are in these positions of power that are acting in the manner that is creating this reality where a lot of persons we're hearing even more than half of the nation is living in poverty. But why? Why is this the reality? You know, there's more than one side to this story, and we're going to analyze it and get into as many details as we can, present as many aspects so we could suss out this situation and so that we could move forward with a better understanding of how to navigate the reality of what's going on the ground in Guyana. So make sure that you subscribe to Delta 9 Media and take a couple of seconds as well and share the video if you can and hit that thumbs up button as we get into some more details. Recently we would have covered here on Delta 9 Media where the opposition leader was highlighting some of what was going on with these contracts, right? And he was showcasing the fact that persons were actually in the cemetery and they were disrupting the final resting place of a lot of persons that were there. Let's get a refresher of that before we get the other side to the story, because guess what? Sheriff come out. Sheriff come and talk their part. Sheriff come and present their side to the story. Amir Ahmad come and present his side to the story. Right?
The late Philip Michael Moore can't rest in peace under this administration. Look the proof here. Imagine how much more hundreds of deceased individuals, right, that's supposed to rest in peace are being disturbed. Look, they got another headstone over there with the cross. So we need answers. The family of the deceased need answers.
What's happening when they're doing the road there? When they trouble the Chinese, when I start a prayer for the Chinese.
I am presently standing at a site where a contract was awarded to no other than Sheriff Construction, a deranged individual, Amir Ahmad. Despite all these delayed projects, billions of dollars in projects that are delayed, the PPP government continues to award their friends, family, and favorites.
I'm telling you. Well, right here on Delta 9 Media, we are about the development of the country. We are about the people. We don't pick sides. We're here to present the information in a neutral manner. So, who else better to hear the other side of this story from but from Mr. Ahmad himself, here to tell his side of the story right now. Let me get these details.
Second part of Sheriff's podcast concerning the Sussex Street Road and the bulldozing of the cemetery. So, as you know, and I said yesterday that we at Sheriff Construction has nothing to do with this part of the construction work that's going on. After further investigation, we spoke to the town clerk from the Mayor and City Council, Miss Candice Nelson, and she has told us that the town clerk and the Mayor and City Council has given permission to, I guess, excavate or bulldoze this area. So, you know, this is going to be a short podcast today, but we want to say that the opposition leader or the fugitive offender turned opposition leader is peddling lies about not our contract alone, about a lot of contracts in this country, and having contractors go on the defense. Now, again, he had me go and spend countless hours this morning finding out who bulldozed the cemetery. At Sheriff Construction, we respect the dead. We will never undertake or bid or do any sort of damage to anybody's grave or tomb. As you can see here, yesterday the water level was low and the water level drained over into our pond, well, our street. So let us be clear and let the right information come to fruition about what he's saying, and not about me alone, about other contractors. And we as contractors have a lot of work to do. I have 14 men on this site. We're trying to, as you can see over there, we're trying to cast new retaining walls to meet the deadline, right? And it takes a toll on when things, when he says and peddles misinformation to the public. Now, as an opposition leader, sir, you have the right to criticize any project. But when you're criticizing these projects and you're making baseless claims, what you need to do is simple. Get the facts before you come. Just like how I called the Mayan City Council and asked, hey, what's happening on this site? And they could have clarified right away that they've given Sandy's funeral parlor the rights to bulldoze this. Then it comes back to where I am saying, look, do not come and blame us and make false allegations. And I want to cut this short today because this has nothing to do about him. We just want to prove that Sheriff Construction, like I said, my road is 75% complete. In fact, by tomorrow, we're probably about 80% complete because we're pouring concrete. We work 16 hours a day. I have about 15 guys on this site. Unfortunately, they're on lunch, so you can't see them. But if you put the camera over there, you'll see all of them having lunch, right? Now, we are working as fast as we can on this project. There's another contractor over there that isn't even close to where we are, right? This project not only takes money, but it takes time. 10 hours a day we are on site getting things done, and then you come and falsely make allegations. So I just respectfully, sir, I just want to say to you that when you come at any site, our site or any other contractor site, make sure you have the proper information, because you're only misleading the public of what's happening. So again, I just want to conclude this by showing you the site. And again, I want to say that Sheriff Construction has nothing to do with the bulldozing of cemeteries. We respect the dead, and we will never undertake or bid or do anything of this sort. So I want to thank my viewers again, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in. And just to let you know, the government of Ghana is progressing at a expeditious pace to get roads done. Look at all the roads have been done in this country. Now this road here is going to connect to Cemetery Road, right? And now it makes it easier for the people on Sheriff Street or Mandela, because it's going to be a 2-lane road, right? To access and faster traffic. So I want to commend the government of Ghana.
Definitely more than two sides to a story. And you get a chance right there to hear two sides to what's really taking place in that area there with the contracts, right? They got persons that living in the area said the water stink, they can't even draw their breath when they come outside because of what's going on. You understand me? But we got the chance to hear from the opposition leader, and we get the chance to hear from the contractor, Mr. Ahmad himself. What y'all think about what we even writing? Drop it into the comment section. Definitely let's have some meaningful conversation about these very important and very trending headlines right now on the ground in Guyana. Well, the conversation about the cash grant and everything has got a lot of people upset. But most persons is saying you're upset for the wrong reason. You're worrying about the wrong thing. And what are they talking about? And what are they talking about? Let's hear some of these details right now.
Are engaged in these activities, and it is causing untold social, financial, and other problems in this society. I have spoken to dozens and dozens of employers, and they consistently complain that the employees are gambling all day on their phones, or as soon as they get an opportunity, they go on to the gambling place to do bets and whatever it is that they do at these establishments. On my phone, I get innumerable WhatsApp and Facebook messages of gambling, complaints about gambling. In fact, I could read some of them. People are gambling out the cash grant. They receive the cash grant and they gone straight to the gambling shops and blow it out. I have photographs of persons going there with the cash grant money in their hands. That is not why the government is giving cash grants. School children cash grants I'm talking about, as well as the $100,000 cash grants. These matters are going to be the subject of review. The review has begun, actually. Because, as I said, it's a campaign promise.
Okay.
Every single one of our campaign promises, we are going to deliver on. And that is one.
Okay.
And that brings me to another.
You got a chance to hear a little piece of some of the issues that are definitely being discussed by the Honorable Attorney General. What are your views, Delta 9 travelers? But as we research just a little bit into this whole thing with this gambling addiction, what are some of the causes of this gambling addiction? When we research it, we see that they're saying that mental health issues, people who gamble compulsively often have substance misuse problems, personality disorder, depression, anxiety, etc. Right? Family and friends might be influencing them. They say medications used to treat Parkinson's disease and restless leg syndrome sometimes allegedly might be, you know, the result of some of what we're seeing. But this is they're talking about internationally and locally as well, right? And they're saying that you gotta look at certain personality disorders that persons might be having. Is this person depressed? Is this person going through anxiety because of their financial struggles? Is this person depressed because of the things that they gotta face, the heavy poverty in the country, the victimization, the fighting down? This is why they're looking for escape through gambling, and then they become addicted to that feeling of being free, feeling of the opportunity to have some type of control over this situation, even if it's the illusion of control via gambling. Well, I think we really witnessing here, Delta 9 travelers. Let's have some meaningful conversation. Let's have some right thinking conversation about this issue that was raised right here by the Attorney General. Big up to all those who took a couple of seconds to make sure that they thumbs up this presentation. Very important that you hit the thumbs up button. We're here doing this for you, one of the largest platforms presenting this kind of information for Guyanese, for you, the people on the ground and all over the world who would have migrated. We make sure that we highlight all the important headlines and all these important details so that we all could stay updated on what's going on in our beautiful, wealthy nation. Big up to all the frequent travelers, big up to all the new persons on the channel. Make sure that you join the community. Thanks for being a part of this presentation, and I will catch you in the next one. One love every single time.
One love. Advertise with us, and let's help you promote your next product, project, or event. More than 1 million viewers every month in Guyana and all over the globe. No project too big, no project too small. Delta 9 Media. Let's help your project reach its widest possible audience.